Welcome to the Europe Travel Blueprint. Today we're going to Portugal. Located on the western edge of continental Europe, with an Atlantic coastline that shapes its climate and culture, Portugal is compact, but remarkably diverse. The country is home to roughly 10.4 million people, a population that gives Portugal a relaxed pace while supporting lively cities and thriving coastal towns. In this episode, we'll move from Lisbon to Porto, dive into Sintra's palaces, surf the Algarve's beaches, and explore the islands of the Azores and Madeira. We'll cover what to know before you arrive, how to get around, what to eat and drink, the architecture and history you shouldn't miss, safety and practical tips, and a few insider. Let's go! Did you know Portugal protects a concentrated set of heritage sites? Portugal currently has 17 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, from historic centres to maritime landscapes, a reflection of its long cultural and maritime history. Text. Portugal is geographically small, but regionally distinct. The north, centred on Porto and Braga, is greener, hillier, and known for hearty food and port wine. Central Portugal holds university towns like Coimbra and historic plains like Faro. Lisbon sits in the west on the Tagus estuary, a coastal capital with hills, tramlines, and old neighbourhoods. The south, the Algarve, is sun-drenched and beach-centric. Farther out, the Azores and Madeira are Atlantic island groups with dramatic volcanic landscapes. Expect short travel distances, but big changes in mood and food as you move across regions. Trains and buses connect the main cities affordably. Lisbon-Porto is a common trunk route, and fast trains make the trip comfortable. For the Algarve or small coastal towns, a rental car is very useful. Roads are good and parking outside tiny historic cores is generally straightforward. On the islands, plan flights or ferries in advance. Book intercity tickets early for discounts and reserved seats, and use local timetables for ferries during shorter seasons when schedules change. Portugal is considered generally safe for travellers, but petty crime, especially pickpocketing in tourist hubs and on public transport, is the main concern. The alert in crowded trams, markets, and popular viewpoints. Bicycle and scooter thefts have increased in urban areas, and rental or accommodation scams are a growing annoyance. So always confirm bookings through reputable platforms and keep digital copies of receipts. Emergency number is 112. Travel insurance is recommended, and usual city-wise caution goes a long way. Lisbon layers narrow historic streets with expansive viewpoints. Don't miss the Belém district. The Jerónimos Monastery and Belém Tower are iconic examples of the ornate Manueline style. Ride tram 28 for a classic introduction, but save time to stroll Alfama's alleys and find a Miraduro, a hilltop viewpoint for a sunset over the Tagus. For neighbourhoods, Bairro Alto is lively at night, Chada is for CAFS and culture, and LX Factory is a creative hub for food and design. Buy monument tickets in advance for busy sites and consider a day trip to Sintra for palaces and gardens. Porto's riverfront and the Dom Luís I Bridge are postcard staples. Visit the cellars in Vila Nova de Gaia to learn about port wine and try a tasting. Port styles vary from ruby to tawny to vintage. Porto's historic centre is compact, walkable, and full of azulejo-tiled facades. From Porto, you can also explore nearby Braga and Guimarães for medieval cores and religious architecture, Sintra, Coimbra, and historic towns. Sintra is a short trip from Lisbon and feels like a fairy tale. Colourful palaces, the Moorish castle, and misty hills. Coimbra hosts one of Europe's oldest universities and a beautiful library, a great stop for history and atmosphere. Small towns like Bidos and Vora give you a feel for medieval streets, whitewashed houses, and regional crafts. These smaller places reward slow exploration. Wander, eat locally, and step off the main square to find authentic CAFS. Algarve and beaches. What to expect? The Algarve is famous for golden cliffs, sheltered coves, and clear Atlantic water. Lagos, Albufeira, and Faro are popular bases. For dramatic cliffs and sea caves, head to Ponta da Piedade. Nassau on the west coast is world-renowned for giant winter waves and a surfing culture beautiful to watch even if you don't surf. In summer, expect crowds. In shoulder seasons, you will have beaches and coastal walking paths almost to yourself. The islands Azores and Madeira. If your trip allows, the Azores and Madeira are worth separate visits. The Azores are volcanic, green, and great for whale watching, crater lakes and hiking. Madeira is subtropical, famed for lavada walks, botanical gardens, and fortified Madeira wine. Flights between the islands and the mainland are regular, but bookable windows close in high season. Food and drink, what to order? Portuguese cuisine is a coastal, hearty tradition shaped by the Atlantic and the age of discoveries. Bacalhau salted cod appears in hundreds of recipes and is a national staple. Past is de nata, the custard tart, is the must-have pastry in Lisbon and beyond. In Porto try francesina, a hearty sandwich with melted cheese and rich sauce. Seafood is exceptional. Grilled sardines, clams, and arroz de marisco are highlights. For drinks, try Portuguese wines Vinho Verde from the north, Douro Reds, Alentejo blends and port wine in Porto. Coffee culture is strong. A small espresso biker is the everyday non-ask before ordering a cappuccino at midday. Architecture and history, what not to miss. Portugal's architecture ranges from Roman ruins to Manueline ornamentation and Pombaline reconstruction in Lisbon after the 1755 earthquake. Key monuments include Jerónimos Monastery and Berlim Tower in Lisbon, the Monastery of Batalha and Alcoba, Porto's Ribeira and Dom Luís I Bridge, and the historic centre of Vora. These sites tell Portugal's story: seafaring explorers, maritime trade, imperial wealth, and later urban rebirth. When visiting churches and monuments, be respectful. Many remain active cultural and religious spaces. Culture and daily habits, local realities. Portuguese people are generally warm and reserved, polite, willing to help, and proud of local traditions. Mealtimes are social. Lunch and dinner can be relaxed, though Portuguese typically eat earlier than Spain. Lunch around 1–2 p.m. and dinner often between 8–10 p.m. Tipping is modest. Rounding up or leaving 5–10 in restaurants is appreciated but not obligatory. Learn a few phrases: obrigado, obrigada, thank you, and por favor, please go a long way. Smart travel tricks and scams to avoid. A few practical tricks. Always check that taxis use the meter. Prefer licensed drivers or apps. Verify your accommodation booking and read recent reviews to avoid fake listings. Keep bags zipped and use a crossbody in busy spots. And when using ATMs, choose bank-affiliated machines. If you plan to drive, understand local parking rules. Fines and tolls are common in historic centers. And finally, be aware of seasonal weather. Atlantic storms can affect coastal ferries and some island services. Closing, why Portugal is worth your time. Portugal is a country where scale works in your favor, compact enough to see a lot in a short time, but rich enough that each town and region feels complete. From Lisbon's hills to Porto's riverfront, Sintra's palaces to the Algarve's cliffs, and the wild beauty of the Azores, Portugal rewards curiosity, patience, and an appetite for good food and sea air. If you found this guide useful, like and subscribe to the Europe Travel Blueprint. Next, we'll continue our journey across Europe, one country at a time. Thank you for watching.